Alright, so let's test this again. Fail authentication if the password is wrong, right? I need to restart this. Welcome, right? Because it's correct. But this is just to test. But I need to get the text field. So I need to create text field now, right? In order to set my input. So let's start with text field. And we're gonna name username txt text field FLD, okay, equals to new text field, okay. Import JavaFx, that what we want. So I'm gonna copy and paste and do the same with password text field. So now we have username text field, password text field. Of course, we need to add to the root, right? What is the root? The one that we created, which is your right stack pane. So let's say we're going to do the same here, and we're going to change this to username txt FLD text field, and then did I do pw? Yeah, pw txt oops FLD, right? So let's run it and see what happened. Okay, it seems like we have text field on the top. See that? When you don't use layout, it's just stacked on the top of each other. That's what it is. Because by default, the layout is like that. Now, we want to use layout to help. Otherwise, we're going to sit on the top of each other. Like that one. We can actually type something in, but it's on the top. I can show you that code a little bit to test it works too. But let's do layout first. So we're gonna use something like grid pane. It's just like a grid, just like an Excel spreadsheet table with the grids, okay, row and columns. So let's take a look at. They have the method say set alignment, okay, and you can set position to center, and then you have this is horizontal gap and vertical gap, and the padding, okay, padding with the insets. So let's look at the image, then you see what it means. This is the gap, you see that, and this is the padding 25. The pink, those are padding, right? 25, 25, 25 on top, left, right, and bottom margins. So that's use the inset, right there, inset, right there, okay. And then scene has to use grid, right? When you create a scene, you put a grid in. Okay. So yeah, let's use that. And the vertical and horizontal gaps, let's take a look at that. So these are the gaps. These are vertical gaps between each, right, text, and horizontal gaps, okay, like between labels and the text field. Now I didn't create label yet. I only have just text field. Okay, so now if you look at this, instead of using stack pane, we use grid pane, right? So if you come back to our code, we were using stack pane. That's why I stack on the top of each other. Now if I change it to another type of pane, which is grid pane, right? Then we're not going to stack the things that we add anymore, right? Stack is stacked. So now we use grid. Okay. Now, of course, we should set the gaps and things like that, right? This is just default of grid, right? When I don't set anything, it's just move everything to the top left. So now, let's start to set that. So we said, okay, when we name, they pretty much just like to name grid now. I'm going to just change the name to grid. Okay. And then we can say grid dot set alignment. Like I just showed you by default, it's on the top left. Now I'm going to make it to the center, right? So import POS is part of the geometry here. That's the constants. So let's run it. Now we move it to center. See that? So now we want to have the gaps between each items, right? So let's set the vertical gap. That's what we worry about first. 10. Alright, so let's see what happened. So that's when you learn this, you pretty much just need to do exactly the same. Test one by one, see what's different. Again, vertical gap is right there, right? So when you add the item to grid, right, you also need to set the location. See that? Where you want it to go. So and they don't need to do get children. You can just say add username text field. And you need to say, okay, go to O1. Okay. It should be top left. And let's say password text field. Go to O2. The second one from the left. Second row. One should be row, one should be column. Okay, we'll see it after we run. Okay, so row, if I say first one is row 0, column 1, right? And if I want it to be like this, let's say like that. And so row 1, this was row 0, right? Column 0, row 1, column 0. And submit button, go to row 1, column 1. Now we separate them, right? See? Right? I didn't put the labels, but now we see. Let's figure that out first. The first one is 0, 0, which looks like it's going to be that one, right? This is like a square, right? If I open Excel, so it's just like I'm talking about this, right? So this should be what? 0, 0, correct? So that's why I put my right at the top left, and text field is 1, 0. So this is 1, 0. So that means the first one represents column, the second one represents row. See that? And the button go to 1, 1 right there, right? Because this is row 1, column 1, right? So if I actually want this to move it down, username and password down, and I start to have label in, right? So let's create label. So I want to put like this, username label, and this is the text field for it, right? And this is password label and text field for it, right? and then this is a submit button. Okay, so I should put my label to where it should be 00, right? And this is going to be 01, right? And submit should be what? 1, 2, 1. Is it 1, 2? Right? It should look like that, right? So let's start to put that together on the code here. I'm going to create labels for this. So I need to label. So label user name LBL stand for label. New label. Of course, you need to import it and make sure pick JavaFx and put the label that you want to show user name, right? And also label for password. Then the user know where to enter, right? So password label. Alright, so I create 2 labels so I can actually add to my grid. Of course, I didn't set the gaps for that yet. So let's start to set the horizontal gap and vertical gap. Okay, then it's not very much attached to each other. They have some gaps. Alright, so username label, I'm going to decide according to this 00, right? Password label is 01, right? And now start to be the submit button should be what? 1, 2. And another 2 is username txt field, which is 1, 0. And then the same to password, we change to 1, 1. Right. pwtxtfld. When you name it, if you name it like with this, then you remember, like password text field, then you don't have to go back and look up. There you go. Looks good now. See that with the gaps, vertical gaps, horizontal gaps. Now I just need to program, be able to enter this and put into my text field here, right? So now I just initialize to empty for now. And whenever I do action right there, input, I may want to do input equals to, what's the name of my text field? Username dot. Let me make sure to input username, okay? Input username, right? And input password. So username txtfld dot what get text that user enter, right? You just get the text, and the same input pw equals to username pw txtfld dot get text. So that's how you get text from user, right? And welcome input. I just rename it to input username. Alright. So when you hit the button, it's going to do that action, right? The handle action to get the text. Let's say GG, that should be fail authentication, right? Username is CSC200 and password, that should be welcome. Now I want to change this to password type. No longer need the text field, right? When user type in, to make it more secure, just change to password field, which you have to change this to password field too and import it. And the rest should be the same. So let's run it. CSC200, and now it's more secure. right? Submit.